Today we're focusing on being technologically safe now that school is back in session. Spectrum News 13's Greg Angel talked with Tom Jelneck at On Target Digital Marketing for today's In Depth.
It's amazing. I mean, those big, lunky textbooks are kind of a thing of the past as we're now getting laptops and tablets and things like that. And, you know, diving right in, we hear about the Equifax data breach and things like that. What's important for students and parents to keep in mind when using new age technology to keep themselves safe?
So great question. And what we're seeing a lot of is a lot of kids are actually getting iPads, tablets, computers, to your point, laptops, because they have to use them to read their books now. This is the new world, right? So I think a lot of parents just need to be really aware that they need to lock some of these devices down for their kids' safety, in particular laptops with the cameras and the audio, and they're listening now. So I really think parents need to take the extra steps to really lock some of these devices down with antivirus and be mindful, shut off the cameras, etc.
So you talk about some of those proactive tips, you know, antivirus software, things like that. But the accessibility for parents, how do they make sure that they can still kind of monitor what their kids are doing on there?
I mean, this is a real challenge for parents, and I know this firsthand. Sometimes my daughter will be up till 1:30 in the morning on her tablet. So we purchased a Wi-Fi device that we can actually control how long they can stay on and kind of give them as much screen time as they need to get their homework done, but we don't need to be playing Minecraft till 2 o'clock in the morning. So you can purchase devices that you can go, you know, isolate individual devices on your network and kind of pause them at a decent hour so that your children are getting their sleep.
Fascinating. Typically with the tablets and laptops, they have a lot of internal parental settings in there as well that you can kind of go in there, control passwords, things like that.
Right. I think it's really important not just to hand a device over to your child. You know, take the extra time to go through there and set up the parental controls, put in the passwords that you'll use to go alter software, etc. Don't really put your kids in charge of that.
I'm kind of curious from a parent's perspective, with the technology nowadays, obviously cyberbullying is something that always comes up. And how do you approach that kind of conversation? And how can other parents approach that conversation? Because, you know, this technology makes it so easy for kids to communicate and talk and share pictures and things like that.
It really does, and it really is a problem. And I'm not all gloom and doom, but I'll tell you this. You know, back in the day when we came home from school, we'd go outside and play. So school kind of stopped when we got home, right? That interaction with all of those kids at the schools kind of comes to an abrupt halt. Not today. You come home and it's a 24/7 cycle of social media, of Snapchat, of Instagram, etc. So, you know, you really do have to have the talk with your kids. You have to sit them down. Any inkling that they feel that they're being bullied, you have to encourage them to come talk to you about it, right? And have the really blunt conversation. I also monitor my kids' social media, and it sounds creepy, but we have to. I think as responsible parents, you got to poke your head in there and see what's going on.
But that's also the role of being a parent, and not necessarily creepy. It's taking that responsibility that's out there. Now, the cool thing with technology, you know, kind of the possible negative things aside, is it can really help in the classroom. It can kind of make certain lessons come to life and things like that. So there are aspects to technology to harness and to embrace.
100%, and we're seeing more and more in classrooms, which I love. I think is great. Some interactive books where you can dig deeper into maps and visualize things. I really think technology is an amazing play in education. It's just something we, as parents, just have to be very mindful that there is, to your point, always the downside or the potential cyberbullying or spyware, etc.
And it's almost, you know, you look at Orange County Public Schools where some of the students get some of this technology, some of the laptops to take home, and it makes it easier for parents to be involved because they know what kind of grades are their students getting, what kind of homework assignments are they completing, and so forth. So with technology, it is something you have to use responsibly, but make sure you're involved with it with your child as well.
Absolutely. And one last tip I want to offer up: do pick up your child's phone at the end of the day. Do look at the apps that they're downloading if you're allowing them to download them. Some of them will actually hide files. Kids are really sneaky. They find ways around things. So just be really mindful and stay on top of that stuff.
Tom Jelneck, thank you very much for going in depth with us. Can't believe school is right around the corner.